Hi, my name is Max Hanna and I'm one of the co-founders of Social Tree Global. In this short presentation, I'm going to be giving away our entire framework when it comes to go-to-market engineering. Go-to-market engineers are one of the fastest growing job roles in B2B marketing and sales. The world has changed. Before, we used to have someone responsible for marketing, someone responsible for sales. We used to have an agency for SEO, an agency for email marketing, but that role is being centralized. And now people are hiring go-to-market engineers who can handle both marketing and sales and bring together what 10 people used to do, which makes sense because let's be honest, AI and automation are really powerful tools. There's no way that our headcount can be the same when it comes to sales and marketing with these tools available. And this role is now being centralized, allowing for significant cost savings, but also for better outcomes and being able to actually increase the amount of outreach we're doing, to increase the amount of sales that we're making, to increase the amount of content, and doing it at a fraction of the cost. The problem is most companies haven't actually codified this role. They've got different people trying different AI tools in the sales and marketing function. And it just means that it's inefficient, things aren't coming together. And I'm going to show you the different things that need to come together in order to really have this go-to-market function in your organization and to streamline costs and increase your output. So when we actually look at the different elements that go into it, this is what we need to look at. We need to look at vibe coding, how we have a culture of vibe coding within sales and marketing, what we're doing around AEO, so how we're showing up in search engines, how we're using AI to scale content and create better content quicker, faster, and better, and how we're using AI research agents to find live signals so that we are identifying people when they're in those buying cycles, how we're doing agentic outbound and automating the outbound process, how we're automating our CRM records, using things like Claude Cowork as the brain of the operation to have that agentic function working through all of our pillars, and then how we tie that to human relationships. Because at the end of the day, B2B sales is still about human relationships. And we're big believers in that we can do a lot online, but we need to build those relationships offline as well. And if you're actually interested in how much this all costs, you'll see below there's a link that has our cost and ROI guide. So if you actually want to see how much all of these elements cost, feel free to download that and you can see the actual pricing behind all of these different pillars. But let's jump into a more detailed explanation of what these are and how you kind of begin to look at it. So the first thing is vibe coding. I myself used to pay for website agency $2,000 a month to manage our website, to build landing pages. And we've actually now, through vibe coding, been able to do that all ourselves. We built our own website. We built this deck here through vibe coding practices. We've built apps. We built our whole marketing function through vibe coding because it's quicker, because it's cheaper, and it's better. So in order to deploy vibe coding, there's loads of tools that you can look at, and they're platforms that your whole team can work on. And once you upload a brief and your brand guidelines, you can build your whole site. You can build decks like this deck that I've built here, all vibe coded in about 30 minutes. You can build your entire marketing collateral. You can wire up to forms, tracking your CRM. You should be able to make changes rapidly and build stuff really quickly and really cheaply. It shouldn't cost you a lot. And everyone in your organizations needs to learn and needs to have a platform that they can vibe code on. Then it's AEO, because people, when they're thinking about their problems in their business, are now going to search engines like ChatGPT, writing in the problems they're facing, and the things like ChatGPT, Claude are now recommending companies to help them. So what you need to understand is how you're how you're showing up in these search engines. And there's a variety of different tools that you can use to see how you're ranking, where you're coming up, what's wrong about your entries. And you need to be making sure that you're showing up in the best sources, that your site is all wired correctly so that these robots can actually crawl your site. And again, you can vibe code that. You can actually build your site and vibe code it so that you're showing up when it comes to coming up to AI. And again, this is a function of a go-to-market engineer. Then you need to have artificial intelligence generated content. So you should be able to create 20 assets a week, in a couple of hours. It all starts from recording your senior leaders, running that through AI, creating videos, carousel posts, text posts, and just generating, a raft of content in different forms across multiple channels. And again, feeding into your AEO strategy and making sure that you're showing up in the right places in those trusted sources. and it should be cheaper and faster than what you were paying before. If you're still paying the same rate for content production, then you're definitely missing a trick. Or if you haven't 10x'd what you're producing, again, you're probably doing it wrong. And then it's AI research agents. So it's running multiple agents to look out for buying signals. I worked with a company recently around cybersecurity where they wanted to find companies who use Salesforce and also have a lot of public forms. So like, for example, governments where they're uploading like driving licenses, or insurance where customers are uploading loads of like insurance documents, things like passports. And they're also looking for people who have had a cyber incident in the last 12 months because they sell Salesforce security. So they want to know, who's uploading loads of documents to websites and is definitely using Salesforce. And that was the sort of lead list their sales teams needed. Before doing that, they had a problem because they couldn't automate that. It was a lot of manual process. So you should be having multiple AI research agents running around getting these lead lists and building it for you. Then it's about agentic outbound. You need to then automate your outbound. There's no reason why you should be doing it manually. You can get customization at scale. Your sales team should only be dealing with people who have qualified themselves. The days of manual outbound are slowly coming to an end. And then CRM integration. You should be able to automatically enrich your CRM, which when I started working in sales was a massive problem. Like, people just didn't keep their records up to date. This should all be automated. It's now bread and butter of a go-to-market engineer, and making sure you've got attribution on your pipeline. And then having Cloud Core work as your brain. So that should be integrated across all of these, and it should be driving it forward. And everyone should have a Claude Cowork license, so you're working on the same thing. It's building memory, and so people can come into your organization and begin actually bringing all this together. And at the end of the day, everything should be driving to human relationships. So we still believe in in-person events, so driving people to in-person experiences, building those human relationships. And that's where your sales team should really be focusing on, is scaling human relationships and letting go-to-market engineers, these agents, automate this process, and then freeing up budget for in-person activations. So I've been working in go-to-market for the last 10 years, working with companies like Fidelity, UBS, HP, Meltwater, Finastra. In the last 6 months alone, on this system, we've built £11 million in qualified pipeline, 180 senior meetings booked, and we've done it at 87% lower costs per lead compared to other paid channels. And obviously, there's a process to this. You need to scale up and make sure you have the right systems in place and start to bring in the platforms people can work on, and upskill your team in order to really turn on this function, this practice of go-to-market engineering. And if you're interested in looking at how much this stuff costs and to actually see the ROI, at the bottom of this video, there's a button you can push that will show you the actual costs involved and how much you could potentially save by doing this, and the different tools and platforms that you may need to invest in. I hope you found this video useful. Short overview of what our approach to go-to-market engineering. We're living in a fantastic, exciting time where so much is changing, and a great time to get competitive advantage. Hope you found that video useful, and I look forward to hearing from you in the future.